My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Koska Reeves. And so here we have Koska Reeves posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through her accessories. Koska Reeves does come with her Mandalorian helmet, which looks really nice. I do like the detailing on it. It also does have an articulated rangefinder. She comes with dual blasters, which do look nice in her hands, but she only comes with a holster for one of them, so that is a little bit disappointing. And then she also does get her jetpack. Other than that, Koska Reeves doesn't come with any other accessories, so let's actually move on to her details. And so here we have a closer look at Koska Reeves, and I think Hasbro has done a really nice job with this figure now. Unfortunately, for the most part, this is a reused figure. There are very few new parts on Koska here, unfortunately, but everything that they used works, with the exception of one thing that makes her a little bit inaccurate to the show. For the most part, her costume was really similar to Bo-Katan, so I can understand the reuse. There's just one or two things that they did get wrong. For starters, the helmet does look really nice. If we can just pull the helmet off Koska really fast, it is very similar to Bo-Katan's helmet, as you can see. It's not as wide as Bo-Katan's, which I originally thought that they were going to use the same helmet mold, but as you can see, there are some slight differences in the helmet. Koska's does have a different siding, which looks really nice, and hers is more in one color, where Bo-Katan's is in several different, but they do have articulated rangefinder, so that is really nice. So having a better look at Koska Reeves, I think they did a fairly decent job with the Sasha Banks head sculpt. It's not 100% accurate, but I guess it works. Now, one thing you'll notice right here on mine is a little bit, she has like a scar going on her face, and that's not accurate to the Mandalorian. That's the way that she was packaged with the helmet on. You can see inside the helmet, it's actually indented right there. That indent actually caused this little dent in the plastic, which I might have to heat that up. Maybe that'll help it out. But I do like the face sculpt, and the skin tone does look really nice. And then I do like her braided hair. It looks really cool. And then we do have her little tie right here. The jetpack is the exact same that we saw with Bo-Katan. If we can just pull Bo-Katan right here. The only difference is the coloration. Bo-Katan's is more of a silver, hers is more of a dull gray plastic, and then the blues look very different. It looks like they put a lot more detail into Bo-Katan's gear than they did Koska Reeves, so that is a little bit unfortunate. We do have her Mandalorian Armor, which again is the exact same thing that we saw with Bo-Katan, so there's really not much to talk about in terms of sculpt. But in terms of paint, I like the overall paint scheme on Koska here. I think the fact that it's all one color makes it look a little bit better. I do like the fact that they did scuff up the armor, as you can see, looking really nice. We do have some decals right here on her shoulders. And then of course we do have the dart launcher right here, which has a nice silver and copper color. This really rich blue that they use for her armor is very accurate to the Mandalorian. I think a little more dirtiness throughout the costume would have helped out, but that's just me, to be quite honest. If you don't like the dirtiness, I think this figure will work. A little bit of dry brushing would have gone a long way on her belt. Now, unlike Bo-Katan, where she had another holster on her left leg, unfortunately, Koska Reeves only has the one right here, and like I said, she does get dual pistols, so I don't understand why she can't store both of them. You can have her holding one at all times, so that does alleviate the problem, but it is a little bit strange that we get dual blasters, but only one holster. Now, looking at the legs, again, armor is almost exactly like Bo-Katan's, and I do like the fact that her armor is colored, where Bo-Katan's was more of that silver color, where it kind of blended in with the pants. Hers is that really nice blue, so it does stand out, as well as the knee pads, and again we get some scuff marks right there. The one thing that isn't accurate about this figure, the shin plates. Koska Reeves did not have shin guards in the show, and I don't know why they did this. It's obviously a cost-saving tool, but it wouldn't have taken much just to retool this leg without the shin guard and the straps. I mean, to be quite honest, if they had just sculpted this without the shin guard and just continued the sculpt all the way around, it would be a little more accurate. And I think that is something to note, is that she's not supposed to have shin guards, but she does have shin guards in the figure, which is a little bit unfortunate. She's not 100% accurate to the show, but it still works. I do like the two-tone boots that she has on her right now. We do have a lighter brown right here, and then a more reddish brown for the main color. Overall, still a really nice figure. I do think that her armor was slightly different from Bo-Katan's, but again, for the most part, this is a really nice looking figure, so I gotta give Hasbro credit for that. They did a pretty okay likeness on Sasha Banks, but for the most part, the figure is still very good. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to comparisons. And so here we have Koska Reeves posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Koska Reeves posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 112 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Koska Reeves posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have Koska Reeves posed next to a Beskar Armor Mandalorian and Bo-Katan. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to Koska's articulation. Now, she does have a dumbbell joint at the head, which she can look up to about right there. She can look down about that far, can get some really nice head tilt. Then we do have another ball joint here at the base of the neck, so that does help move her neck back and help her look down. Can tilt side to side even better. She does have a butterfly joint, but it's recessed in there so much that you really don't get any movement out of that, so that is a little bit unfortunate. Arm does go all the way around, does go out to the side, only to about right there, which is what we saw with Bo-Katan. Does have a single bend at the elbow, giving us a little better than 90 degrees. Rotates no problem. Up and down hinge here at the hand, although it's really stiff on mine. I might have to hit that with a hairdryer. And then of course rotates. We do have a ball joint here at the torso, which does go forward and back. Now when I got it out of the packaging, it would not rotate at all, and that's because, I don't know how well you can see that, it was actually glued down to the torso, and that was a little bit unfortunate, but it does move around now, and thankfully it didn't damage any of the plastic that you can see, so it's not that big of a deal. Does pivot side to side, rotates really nicely. Legs do kick forward to about right there, kick back, out to the side, no problem. We do have a thigh swivel, which works fine. Single bend at the knee, giving us a little better than 90 degrees, as well as rotates at the knee. Then we do have a hinge in the ankle, which does go back to about right there. Does go forward only to about right there, unfortunately. And then we do have forward-facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, Koska Reeves here has some pretty decent articulation, and I do like it. If you have the Bo-Katan figure, you know exactly what you're getting into, so there is that. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get her posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And finally, here we do have the Star Wars Black Series Koska Reeves pose for my final thoughts, and overall I do like the way this figure came out. I'm a huge fan of the Mandalorian, and as you can see, I've pretty much gotten every single version of a Mandalorian character that we've gotten from Hasbro so far, and I'm gonna say I'm not disappointed at all by Koska Reeves here, although she does have some of the same problems that Bo-Katan has, and that's really where the head lies. The head is the main issue with this figure. Because the head has to fit a helmet, the head is either going to be the proper scale and then the helmet is too big, or the head is going to be too small and has to accommodate a helmet that looks about the right size. This does suffer from a giant helmet syndrome, just like Bo-Katan. I would much rather prefer alternate heads rather than helmets fitting over heads, mainly because it does create a bobblehead effect. And if you were to look at the screenshots from The Mandalorian, Koska Reeves' helmet was not this big, and I do understand that that's one of the problems with scaling figures down to 1/12 scale, but alternate heads do alleviate that problem, and I would like to see alternate heads moving forward with figures that have interchangeable helmets. That would be one thing that I would change in Star Wars Black Series. Overall, I'm still very impressed by this figure. I think the colors look a lot better than Bo-Katan's, and even though she doesn't have as much screen time as Bo-Katan, I think Koska Reeves here is one of my favorite secondary and background characters from The Mandalorian. I mean, she's not really a background character, but she really doesn't do too much. She's still a really nice looking character, and I do love the color of her armor, and it looks really solid. So I do recommend Koska Reeves here for any Star Wars fan, especially if you're a fan of The Mandalorian. I think the accessories on her work. It is a little strange that we get 2 blasters, 1 holster, but that's not really for my design. But overall, if you can find this figure, I definitely recommend you add her to your Mandalorian shelf. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Star Wars Black Series videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it fits in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.